When we think of the great heroes of the Old Testament, we think of men like Abraham, Jacob, and King David. Yet these foundational figures of faith all engaged in a practice that seems strange and immoral to many modern readers: polygamy, the practice of having multiple wives. The most extreme example is King Solomon, who is said to have had 700 wives and 300 concubines. Why did the Bible's patriarchs and kings practice polygamy, and why doesn't the text explicitly condemn it? The answer lies in the cultural and economic realities of the ancient world. In the ancient Near East, marriage was rarely about romantic love. It was a practical arrangement. Polygamy was common, especially among the wealthy and powerful, for several key reasons. First, it was a strategy for survival and legacy. In an age with high infant mortality, having many wives increased the chances of producing many children, especially male heirs, who would carry on the family name, inherit property, and provide security for the parents in their old age. Second, it was a tool for political and diplomatic alliances. A king like Solomon would marry the daughters of neighboring kings to seal treaties and ensure peace. These marriages were political contracts. Third, it was a sign of wealth and status. A large household with many wives and children was a display of a man's power and success. What is crucial to understand is that while the Bible describes polygamy, it never once portrays it as a peaceful or ideal situation. In fact, the biblical authors seem to go out of their way to show the disastrous consequences that arise from it. The first instance of polygamy mentioned in the Bible, Lamech in Genesis, is associated with a culture of violence. Abraham's decision to have a child with his wife's servant, Hagar, leads to bitter jealousy and conflict with his first wife, Sarah, resulting in Hagar and Ishmael being cast out into the desert. Jacob's two wives, the sisters Leah and Rachel, are locked in a painful, lifelong rivalry, creating a deeply dysfunctional family dynamic that leads to their sons selling their brother Joseph into slavery. The most dramatic cautionary tale is Solomon himself. The Bible doesn't celebrate his massive harem, it points to it as the direct cause of his downfall. His many foreign wives, the text says, turned his heart after other gods, leading him to build shrines to pagan deities and break his covenant with God. This sin is what leads directly to the division and eventual collapse of his kingdom. So while the law of Moses accommodates the practice, the narratives consistently function as a warning against it. The ideal presented in Genesis 2 is a monogamous one. A man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. The stories of the patriarchs show how far humanity, and even its greatest heroes, fell from that ideal, and the chaos that ensued as a result.